Hey guys, what is up? It is StopMatt1998 here, and I am here today with the Italian Grand Prix for my Freddie Grey career mode here on F1 2014, obviously using this 2016 season mod, and today we are here for the home Grand Prix for Ferrari at the Monza circuit here in Italy. Obviously today is a very important race for the team, and obviously Freddie himself try and increase that lead even further to Lewis Hamilton, who obviously overtook in the last race in Belgium. Guys, if you have not seen Belgium yet, go and watch it right now. It was an incredible race. Went down to the final lap of the Grand Prix, so I'm going to spoil it in a second. I'm going to give you a chance to click off of this video and go and watch it. So yeah, so we sealed the victory on the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix after defending off the likes of Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, and obviously Sebastian Vettel. Proper Mercedes versus Ferrari battle it all was. Very, very tense, exciting stuff we saw. Very, very thrilling. This weekend, who knows how it will go. It was a wet qualifying session, as you saw by the intro. So yeah, without further ado, let's see what happened in qualifying. The intermediate conditions mixed up proceedings, with Romain Grosjean qualifying dead last. Rio Haryanto was considerably faster than teammate Pascal Wehrlein with a Q2 appearance sealed. Sauber once again exceeded expectations and the conditions played to their advantage. Force India, however, had a horrible session to P18 and P19. Contrasting fortunes struck at Renault with Magnussen in P9 and Palmer in P20, while the same can also be said at Williams and Toro Rosso, with Bottas and Sainz getting a significant edge over their teammates. Red Bull achieved the best qualifying result of the year with second and third, while Mercedes struggled considerably as Rosberg failed to reach Q3. McLaren set their laps at the ideal time and therefore secured a brilliant 5th and 6th. While it was Sebastian Vettel who sealed pole position in front of the Tifosi crowd, the conditions resulted in a mixed-up grid with lots of cars out of position, which set the scene for a thrilling opening few laps. It is time for the Italian Grand Prix.
Home Grand Prix for the team today. Let's make the bosses extra proud. Come on, Freddie.
So obviously the home race day at the Italian Grand Prix needs to form well for the bosses that are obviously here at the track today. Another strange qualifying session, but it shapes things up nicely for the race start, as we are underway here for the Italian Grand Prix at the Monza circuit, getting off to a very good start. Jensen Button getting off very slowly directly ahead of us, and we've already moved to the inside line as we approach the Rettifilo chicane, turns 1 and 2 for the first time today, braking a little bit early, quite cautiously, but Fernando Alonso suddenly stops to see Max Verstappen ahead of him, and Freddie has now lost a bit of debris off his front wing. Don't think it's going to really affect him too much in his first stint, but it probably will require a front wing change at his next pit stops. We are still side by side with Button as he goes through Curva Grande now for the first time, and Jensen Button has been overtaken. You can see ahead we still have Fernando Alonso and also Valtteri Bottas. I think our teammate Sebastian Vettel is still in the lead. So on the whole, it's been a pretty good start for Freddie, kind of what he wanted. And obviously as this lap progresses, Monza has, you know, a load of overtaking opportunities. For example, coming up out of the exit of the second Lesmo down to the Ascari chicane, that is the second DRS zone on this track, so we're probably going to see lots of overtaking there today. We tried a little bit of switch back there on Fernando Alonso in the McLaren, but unfortunately didn't quite work out for us. We stick here in the cinematic view. Again, it was a very odd qualifying session yesterday with both Mercedes also very low down, actually almost outside the top 10, both Hamilton and Rosberg. You can see behind, Hamilton has made a decent start, Rosberg still struggling a little bit further back, but I'm still very much expecting the two Mercedes cars to be challenging Freddie towards the back end of this race. But obviously the first job for Freddie is to conquer the guys ahead of him, such as Fernando Alonso, who hopefully he should be able to get on this pit straight here as Alonso breaks very, very early once again through the parabolic corner, and Freddie makes the move 6th. I don't know why Alonso was running through slowly through there. Very, very dangerous indeed, and Freddie could have actually lost his whole front wing there, not just his end plate like into turn 1, but now we are on the back of Valtteri Bottas and also a Red Bull, I believe, of Max Verstappen, getting incredible slipstream once again, just like in Spa, and into the Rettifilo. We've made a double overtake there, quite unexpectedly to be honest, but Freddie is now up into P3 now, I believe. Yes, indeed, ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen. Now ahead is the Australian driver Daniel Ricciardo. Don't ask why he's the rival. He was the only driver who I could pick for some odd reason, but yeah, we are now on the back of the Ricciardo, once again gaining on him hugely here with the straight line speed. We might try and make a move into the Della Roger chicane. We do make a bit of contact actually with Ricciardo, who more or less moves to the inside and allows Freddie through. Apparently he caused a collision there, but I don't really see how that's possible. Just made a very tiny bit of contact and in the end made the move stick around the outside of Ricciardo. So a very good move, and now onto lap 6 we are on the back of our teammate Sebastian Vettel. So it has taken Freddie quite a few laps to catch up to the back of his teammate, but now we should have the DRS on on Sebastian Vettel on this straight here, heading down into the Ferrari corner. Can we try and make a move now? We are gaining on Sebastian Vettel here with the DRS, considerably helping us out. Now with the Ferrari chicane for the first time, going in a little bit too fast, and we go into the gravel, and I think Vettel will regain P1. But once again, on the inside, Vettel going incredibly slowly, and Freddie just says thank you very much. We're going to retake that first position. So very strange, to be honest. Freddie obviously originally taking far too much speed into the Ascari chicane, having to make a trip through the gravel, and obviously Sebastian on the inside there out the exit of the Ascari, just seemingly letting Freddie through for some odd reason. But now into the Della Rosa chicane, Freddie runs right once again into the gravel, and Sebastian Vettel is allowed back through. So a lot of complacency going on here from both Ferrari drivers, it can be said. So I don't really know what's going on. Maybe the setups aren't quite tuned enough to give us the aero advantage through, you know, the tighter sections of the track. But obviously that will hopefully aid us on the straights. As you can see here now, on lap 8 we are due to pit in, and for some reason Sebastian once again going very slowly through Parabolica, and Freddie makes the move sick, very unexpectedly. Did not expect to make that move whatsoever. But into the pits now, onto lap number 8. I think today it will be a two-stop strategy, and it should be prime tyres being fitted on Freddie's car now. You can see behind the Mercedes mechanics waiting for who I believe is Lewis Hamilton. Thankfully we don't get held up despite the front wing change, obviously from the earlier contact on lap 1 right at the start with Fernando Alonso. You can see, actually, speaking of Alonso, also pitting in, has actually maintained third position. He was in fourth, I believe, just behind Lewis Hamilton. We have rejoined a little bit of traffic behind Bottas, and I also believe Nico Rosberg. It shouldn't take us too long to catch those guys. You can see also behind two battling cars. I believe that's also Max Verstappen and Jenson Button. So we have actually pulled out quite an advantage on these guys who were in fact battling in the very early stage of the Grand Prix. So again, just more proof of Ferrari dominance around this Monza track, which is obviously good for the home crowd to see in the stands right now. On to lap 10 though, Sebastian Vettel has gained a huge undercut on us, or overcut even, by staying out that one extra lap. I don't know how he's managed to gain that much of an advantage, considering we were basically ahead of him by a good half a second. Sebastian's gained all that back, but it didn't take us long to catch him up though. On to lap 11, later on into the lap. We go to the outside, actually, very dangerous there, and also almost making contact with the side of Sebastian's car. Thankfully, nothing too major resulted from it, but very close racing there from the two Ferrari boys out in front. Hamilton is 4 seconds behind. You can see on the replay here, getting very close once again. Freddie perhaps going for a bit of an optimistic move there around the outside of his teammate, but thankfully, obviously, it did pay off for the end. Now into lap 14, a few laps later, Sebastian Vettel now has the DRS, and he's going around the outside as we now approach the Rettifilo chicane, and Sebastian Vettel has made the move into turns 1 and turns 2. So a bit of a swapping game going on here, really. The two Ferrari guys pretty much changing positions for the leaders Italian Grand Prix more or less every lap, which is obviously entertaining for the home crowd. Looks like it could even change again as Freddie is going to try and make a move stick around the outside of Parabolica. What a move that was! Fully capitalising on Seb going very slowly through that corner. And I think Freddie will also have DRS as well. Indeed he does, so he should be able to further increase his lead to Sebastian for now. It should be not too long though until we pit in again for our final stop of the day. We've got a couple of back markers ahead of us. Looks like the two Mana Marussia cars, Mana MRT cars, I don't know what they're called nowadays, but yes, is the lead of the Grand Prix is Freddie Gray. Now later on into this sector, we've run a little bit wide once again. The understeer really does seem to be affecting quite severely in this race so far, and Sebastian Vettel zooms past up into the lead of the Grand Prix once again. Freddie just needs to prevent these mistakes from happening before it results in something more major. Now, later on onto lap 15, we can see the Mana moving over now. Rio Haryanto now will have the DRS on Sebastian Vettel. We're lining him up now, bearing down on him, getting ever closer. We're going to make a move into turn 1, moving to the inside, and my goodness me, that was very close once again between the two Ferrari guys.
Okay, mate, just watch the aggression. We've received another warning.
So indeed another warning, again, a bit of an aggressive manoeuvre once again for Freddie. I'm not sure what that was all about. Very close to making contact with his teammate Sebastian Vettel. Now onto lap 17, this is the time we are due into the pits, and Sebastian really didn't drop back too much. He's still within about half a second of ourselves, so within that second, this lap we should be pitting in. So it's all about the race between the two Ferrari guys now as Vettel moves to the outside of the Parabolica corner, but once again breaks very honest. He almost turns into Freddie, so the Ferrari guys getting very close. How they haven't made contact yet or how an incident hasn't even resulted is quite incredible to me. Into the pits once more. It's the race between the two Ferrari guys for this Grand Prix win at Monza, so it doesn't really matter. It looks like the two Ferrari guys will be finishing 1 and 2 today. Which order, we have absolutely no idea right now. So once again, onto another set of prime tyres to round off this race. So hopefully Sebastian will be on the same tyres. I think he will. I doubt the Ferrari team will put us on split strategies, especially as we're fighting for the race victory today. Still in P2, that pretty much shows the advantage that Ferrari have over the rest of the field today. Quite incredible really, but also very fitting also for the home race here at Monza. Now, lap 18 onto lap 19. Sebastian Vettel must have got held up in the pit lane by the two guys that are behind him, because we are pulled out an absolutely huge lead here, and we're way ahead of Sebastian Vettel. As we crossed the line, it was only a 16.3 second gap, but it didn't take Seb very long at all. Now, 4 laps to go. Sebastian Vettel is right on our gearbox here, looking to make that move. Obviously, Freddie has only won 3 Grand Prix this year. Sebastian has won a very similar amount, so they're kind of both fighting for their 4th wins of the season today. So let's see how this all pans out. Freddie once again runs a little bit wide into the Della Rosa chicane, and Sebastian's right on the back of him. He's going to go and try and make a move around the outside of the first Lesmo. Can Seb pull it off? Freddie is on the inside line defending. He's probably still expecting Vettel to be on the outside as we approach the second Lesmo here. As Freddie goes into it, puts the wheel into the grass, goes in with too much speed, spins off, and you are kidding me. The two Ferraris have made contact here at the Italian Grand Prix. This was coming for quite some time, but that was pretty unlucky there. Completely Freddie's fault, and Sebastian was really just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right then. Back to the pits.
Yes, indeed, we are already in the pit lane. That is incredibly disappointing. Completely Freddie's fault, just dropped it into the gravel on the exit of the second Lesbo, and Sebastian was just very unlucky, as mentioned, just the wrong place at the wrong time, and we have dropped down into P7 behind Sergio Perez and possibly even Carlos Sainz, if this is him about to pass us on the pit straight. No, it's not. It is a back marker of Williams, I believe, of Valtteri Bottas, but just incredibly disappointing. Now into lap 25, we have caught up to the 4th injury of Sergio Perez. Perez, meanwhile, is having a pretty decent race. He's in the points for one of the first times since the Monaco Grand Prix, so a very good race from him today. But that incident was just really unfortunate. It was first off, it was a very bad mistake from Freddie himself to put it in the gravel like that, but to make contact with his teammate, it's absolutely tragic. Whilst at the home Grand Prix, in front of the home fans, in front of the higher members of the Ferrari team, it's just honestly quite unbelievable and really quite disappointing. I mean, disappointing doesn't really say it, to be honest. That's an understatement. It's absolutely quite tragic, to be honest, considering it was going to be a 1-2 for the Ferrari team. It was complete and utter domination, and to show that around the Italian Grand Prix at Monza would have been really quite incredible, and the atmosphere has pretty much just toned down a huge amount here, and really it was just complacency that struck Freddie in the end. He is currently in P5, could perhaps overtake Jenson Button into P4, but even if we do make this move on the straight heading down to Scotty, which looks like we are going to here, once getting very close to the contact of Jenson Button, I think Freddie's almost letting his aggression getting the better of him, really trying to take too much speed into the corners, and obviously the setup as well with all the understeer once again affecting him as we do make our way around the final corner. Lewis Hamilton has won the Italian Grand Prix, very unfortunately. Sebastian Vettel will take P3 and Freddie Gray in P4.
Incredibly disappointing result. A meeting is needed before you guys chat to the media.
Yeah, just pure frustration for all today. Just really not what we wanted to be. 45 seconds off the lead after complete enough domination. It's just unacceptable. The incident could have easily been avoided, and the team only end up with 27 points when it should have been a good 43 points in the bag. So very unfortunate. It looks as if Lewis Hamilton will regain his championship lead. So very, very unfortunate. So in the Drivers' World Championship, Lewis Hamilton retakes lead at the expense of Freddie Gray. A very disappointing result once more. Really just has to get over it as quickly as possible and just move on to Singapore. This will probably be one of his most difficult weekends in the sport since he's joined after 2 absolutely classic Italian Grand Prix in his first 2 seasons. This is just simply one to forget. So we just need to move on to Singapore really and just forget about it. Sebastian Vettel in third, and the most interesting thing is that Nico Rosberg has leapfrogged Felipe Massa. Williams having a very, very poor race day. Both cars finishing 1 lap down. Daniel Ricciardo in 6th, with Kvyat in 7th, Bottas in 8th, Verstappen in 9th, Hulkenberg in 10th, and Perez finally getting points for Force India in P11. Now, in the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari still have a lead at the expense of Mercedes, but once again, that gap is ever decreasing. Mercedes outscoring Ferrari today, so it's going to be a very interesting battle in the Constructors as well as the drivers as well. Williams still in third, but Red Bull fourth. The only real change is that McLaren have moved ahead of Renault thanks to Jenson Button's 5th place results there. An absolutely brilliant drive from the Brit there. Really just out of nowhere managed to maintain a very strong qualifying grid position and brought home a very, very decent result from McLaren, which will obviously help them out in the championship. So yeah, guys, that is about it for today. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like down below. The next race is in Singapore, which is another pretty exciting race, I can tell you now. So yeah, guys, I will see you next time for Singapore. Bye-bye.